everyone, and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be the 6 palettes in my collection that just scream spring to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Sorry about the lighting. I'm filming this at night, so I'm just using the cheap ring light that I have. So I hope that it's okay, but since I'm not showing you an actual makeup look, then I think it will be fine. But anyways, the first palette that I have to share with you is my favorite palette in my collection, and that is the Huda Nude Light palette. I think that these tones just scream spring to me, like anything fresh and pink and like mint green kind of colors, like that just really screams spring to me. So this is the first palette that I have to share. If that first palette is a little bit too light toned for your preferences or for your skin tone, I think this next palette will be right up your alley. So it is a similar kind of pinky purple feel to that, and that is the ColourPop It's My Pleasure palette. So this is definitely the more colorful sister to that palette, but yeah, if you are into these kinds of colors, I think that you would really like this palette, especially for spring. They do lean a lot more pink than they look in the palette, so keep that in mind that it is a pink and purple palette, not just a purple palette. But yeah, I do think that this really is a nice colorful option for spring. Also, I wear all of these palettes all year round, and I will if they're a new one, but I just think that they really remind me of spring, but I will definitely be wearing them like the entire year. This next palette is for those of you that like a more neutral look, you're not super into color. So I think that the ColourPop Making Mauves palette is going to be a very big staple in my collection during the spring season. So this is just a very subdued purpley mauve toned palette. So yeah, I think that this is going to be very beautiful for springtime looks, especially like daytime looks to wear to work or whatever. If you are looking for a palette like that, I think that you would enjoy this one. The last three are going to be some bigger palettes. So I think my most spring toned palette is this one from Juvia's Place. This is the Deuce palette. This is actually has been discontinued, but I saw a couple of months ago that they actually brought it back for a limited amount of time, and I actually bought mine off of Poshmark from someone who had barely used it, and I just think that this palette is gorgeous. I use every single shade in here. I've been getting a lot of use out of the green shadow today. I actually used it, and I used this palette to create this look. I recreated a look I did in my full week of green eyeshadow looks. That was look number 4, and I will link the video down below for you guys. But I've just been dying to wear this look again, so I ended up using only this palette for that look and my e.l.f. Mint shadow stick. So yeah, this is a very spring toned palette to me. I think that dipping into any of these like pink or green tones will just really give you a really pretty good spring look. Another larger palette is another one from Huda, and this is the Mercury Retrograde palette. I just think that this is stunning for spring. It's very pinky. Most of the shades, aside from the blues, come off rather pink on the lids and the golds, but I just think that in spring it's nice to play with like different textures. I don't know why I always think of like a lot more like almost like natural, but I don't know how to explain it. Like glitters that are multi-dimensional and they have a lot of texture to them, but they're not like really loud in colors, if that makes sense. And I just think that like this option here in Cosmic or even Ultraviolet or Galaxy, really any of these shimmers kind of give you that effect. So this whole palette just really screams spring to me. And the last palette that I have is my largest palette. And I'm so happy to have this into a spring season. So this is probably, I don't know, I said the Juvia's Place was the most spring palette. This gives it like a run for its money, but it is the Chi Chi Cosmetics Pastels and Dreams palette, and it is a massive pastel palette. You guys, this is amazing. I really love this palette. I don't know what happened here. If you guys can see that, I think you can. It's like the oil from the shadow came out and like stained the packaging, but aside from that, I really love this palette. I was on the hunt for months and months and months, like almost a year, for my perfect pastel palette. And I don't know about you guys, but pastels and spring are just like, they go together, you know what I mean? So I think that this palette is so spring-like. And I actually just posted my Shop My Stash video. I think it will be before this one. And I didn't bring this into my rotation, and I'm totally pulling this into my rotation right now. So if you guys saw that video, just know that I will be adding this one in there as well. But yeah, I'm just very excited to use it. So if you guys want to check this out, I've never heard anyone talk about this before, but I saw it one day and I ordered it. It's an Australian company. It's a smaller brand, I think, and I would definitely recommend this for a pastel palette. It is very beautiful. But that is the last palette that I have to share with you guys for spring. But I do have about 7 other products to mention that I think in my collection just really make me want to pull for them during the springtime. So the first one is kind of going to be like a 2-in-1, and that's just like cream products. So I pulled my Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer and my Rare Beauty Cream Highlight. I have this in the shade Enlighten and this one in the shade 02 But a Biscuit. And in general, I just think like a really dewy complexion is really pretty for spring because we're coming out of winter where most of our skin like dries out, you know, because it's so cold. So I just think that cream products are a really great way to kind of freshen up your complexion for springtime. And along with the cream products, I love these 2 Flower Beauty blush bombs. And I have them in the shade Bubbly and Nectar, and specifically these colors, I can't even say that, but specifically these colors and the formula just scream spring to me. So I definitely think that these are a great thing to pull out of your collection if you have them, or to check out if you want to try them. I think Flower Beauty is sold at some CVS's now. They're not sold in my area yet, but I have seen them in CVS recently. So yeah, if you want to check those out, I definitely would. Right now I'm super into the shade Bubbly, but I used Nectar. You can see like I've used a lot more of Nectar. I used this like every day last spring. So yeah, I'm super into this formula and these 2 colors for spring. Next up, I have this lavender blush. Now this might not be for everyone, but especially those of you with fair skin, I think would enjoy a lavender blush. I've seen some like deeper lavender blushes that I wish that I could use, but that I think would be really gorgeous on deeper skin tones. Like, I don't know why, but this past like 6 months or so, I've just been obsessed with lavender blush. So I'm glad that I finally got one. I've had this one for about 2-ish months now, and I've been using it a lot. I am wearing it today, and you can see like it just looks like bright pink, but it is very, very pretty, and I really think I'll be using this a lot during the spring. And I think it's something definitely to check out if you've never checked this out before, just to pick up like a purple toned blush and see how you feel about it. The last cheek product that I have that reminds me of spring is this Pixie by Petra Duo. And to be honest with you, this might be more so because of the packaging, but I don't know why, I just like want to reach for this, and it like really just draws me in because of this cute green packaging. So I think that that's fine too if it's a packaging thing that pulls you in for a certain product, but the product itself is also really great. I again am wearing this highlight today. I just mixed the 2 of them, and I've been really liking this, and I think I'll be using it a lot in the spring. I mentioned this earlier that I used it today, but this is the Mint Melt No Budge eyeshadow stick from e.l.f. and it's just a mint eyeshadow stick, and I used it today in my look, and I just think that especially like St. Patrick's Day I'll be using this, but also just in general for spring, I think mint green is going to be really popular this year, or I hope it is, because I'm like really getting into mint green shadow. So yeah, something like this is definitely a look that I will be rocking a lot this spring, and this shadow stick really makes it easier to kind of accomplish a good mint look. And the last product I have from my collection to share with you guys for spring specifically is this liquid lip from Persona. This is the lipstick that I have on today. It's in the shade Flamingo, and I'm not usually one to like liquid lipsticks. I got this because, again, Kelly Gooch mentioned them a lot. I've mentioned that I buy a lot of things because Kelly Gooch likes them. But yeah, she mentioned this formula, and this color looks so pretty on her, and this is usually not a color that I would get for myself. I'm not really sure why. It's just like a little bit too like Barbie pink for me usually, but I don't know, I think it's like really flattering, and I think that this would be really pretty on a lot of different people too. But yeah, I think either this or a red lip, whichever one you would feel most confident and comfortable in. I personally don't really like a red lip on myself as of now. I don't know, I go through phases, but I really like this one, and it really screams spring to me. But all right, you guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope that some of these products that I had to share with you inspire you guys to go through your collection and find some really cool products to just inspire you for spring, or maybe if you're looking to pick 1 or 2 things up, I definitely would suggest any of these things that I just mentioned. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!